We're off and running with the Thursday evening edition of the Donovan Live Postgame Show on WKYC's Facebook Live. Alongside Jim Donovan, I'm Dave DiNatale. Finally here, the last show before the season opener for your Cleveland Browns Sunday, right down the road at First Energy Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before we get to that, so Jimmy, I'm at the dentist of all places today, and I heard the news this afternoon that Burt Reynolds had passed away. And, you know, he's like, I mean, you say an actor you really grew up admiring. I loved Burt Reynolds movies. I mean, the Smokey and the Bandit is like my go-to comedy movie, or one, you know, alongside like Caddyshack. The longest drive is
that's Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. The Longest Day is a great war movie. The Longest Yard is just, I think, a fantastic sports movie. Yeah. I love Deliverance. I think that's a tremendous film. Great actor. Great actor.
Yeah, I thought he was a great, I mean, I enjoyed him. I loved him when he was on the Johnny Carson show. I mean, he was a great guest on the Johnny Carson show. I loved him with Sally Fields, and he loved Sally Fields. Yes. Right? I mean, I think, isn't that one of the heartbreaks of his life?
Yeah.
And I know he had a very, very long and then sad ending with Lonnie Anderson, right? That really, I think at one point, broke him financially.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But there was a period of time, I think from the 70s into the 90s, where he was the highest grossing actor annually.
Yeah, there was a period, it was like from 1977, which is the year Smokey and the Bandit came out, until like 1983. I mean, he was tops. Yeah. And then he went to television and did Evening Shade, and then he hadn't been in a major film in a long time, and suddenly a Cleveland native of all people, Paul Thomas Anderson, you know, Goulardi's son, casts him as Jack Horner, the director, in Boogie Nights with Mark Wahlberg and Julianne Moore and that great cast. And he gets an Oscar nomination.
Which he had never gotten
before. Lost out to Robin Williams that year in Good Will Hunting. I mean, it was a great year for films, and it kind of revitalized his career. Did you know, and I didn't know this till 30 for 30, he was a partner in the Tampa Bay Bandits of the USFL, Bandit Ball.
Well, it makes sense because I know he was a big football fan. Yeah. He was a football player, I think.
Oh, yeah, at Florida State.
Yeah, he was a Florida State guy, and he was very athletic, and of course you only had to look at him to see that, in him. But I knew that he had a football existence, and he constantly loved it, and he was always, for the Seminoles and doing that. But that's very sad. Yeah. He was really good. The Longest Yard, I thought he was fantastic in that.
By the way, the original. I want to talk about the remake with Adam Sandler. No offense, because I know he was in that one too, but we're talking about the original with he and Eddie Albert and company.
Really. Eddie Albert was the warden, right? I mean, it was just it was a great cast. It was a great story. Yeah. Right. I mean, it was just it was really sad to hear that news today. But he was a big part of entertainment, like you said, on the big screen and in the little screen, and I just remember when I would hear Johnny Carson say, tonight, Burt Reynolds is here. Right. I would stay up after the monologue to make sure I watched that because they had a really good chemistry with each other. I mean, Carson had a great chemistry with a lot of his guests, and that's why he would bring them back so many times. And Burt Reynolds was certainly near the top of the list on that, so he was great. And Boogie Nights was an amazing
Do yourself a favor. If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, go. I'm sure it's on Netflix, or you'll probably see it in tribute on one of the channels. Like IFC will probably show it. Watch Boogie Nights. It's a great movie anyway, but he's just great. Sometimes it's one of those things. It's like Marlon Brando. You don't. Sometimes it's not even saying anything. It's just your facial reactions and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the way he would smoke those cigars. The other thing was, I also remember him a number of times when Monday Night Football was big. Yeah. And Cosell was big as part of the Monday Night Gang with Meredith and Frank Gifford. Burt Reynolds was brought into the booth a number of times, to visit, and he would really get into it with Howard Cosell. Here's Burt Reynolds, the former Florida State Seminole, and it was great. And he'd go after Howard, and really,
he had
sad news.
And he had the laugh too, the Well, which watch Smokey and the Bandit. I'm going to go home and watch it. I think tonight.
Jackie Gleason.
Yes.
Right.
Jerry Reed.
Hysterical.
It's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I still, with my family, I still quote movie lines from Smokey and the Bandit, because I mean, Gleason. You talk about chemistry. Gleason and Reynolds had chemistry, and that's what made that work. All right. Well, let's hope the Browns have good chemistry on Sunday. Offense, defense, special teams.
Yes.
And you just got done here on Donovan Live chronicling the longest days of opening days for the Browns, and this inability they have to get the season underway. And it's like, I think we talked about off air. It's like the Browns. It feels like not only do they not win opening day games, they go like 0 for September, or maybe they'll 1-3 in September if they're lucky.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're behind the 8 ball. You have no chance, especially in this division, to get yourself out when you're sinking like that.
You don't. And you have to remember now, you never in the NFL, you never have as much time to prepare for a game as you do the opening game of the season. And there's a lot of work put into the opening game of the season, because remember now, they find out who the opening game is against probably in April, May, certainly the latest, the beginning of May, usually right around the end of April when they have an owners meeting.
Yeah, right around the draft.
Yeah, and they announce, okay, you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. And believe me, from that point on, they go to work on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they can say, well, we're getting ready for the preseason and everything like that. Hogwash. I mean, they are getting ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers or whoever it is at the top of your schedule. There is so much work, Dino, put into that game that to lose the game, it's really like losing 2.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they stumble so much in the month of September. And, you have to win that game. It's part of this turnaround. Yeah. If this turnaround is concrete and real, you have to win Sunday.
Yep.
You just have to win the game. You're at home. You've had a lot of, fun weapons, offensively and defensively too. Your younger players are better now and healthy in the case of Myles Garrett. You don't have a baby playing quarterback. You have a guy that's won. I mean, it's all there. Now you have Josh Gordon. Yeah. And you have Jarvis Landry, and now it's just time to do it.
I always
you have Todd Haley.
Right. There are no excuses. I mean, none. You're no injuries. You're not sitting there going, boy, let's just wait till Garrett gets healthy, or wait till Ogba gets healthy, or wait till whoever gets healthy. You don't have that. No. I mean, everybody, all hands on deck. Everybody's healthy and ready to go. I mean, you're in the position. And Pittsburgh, conversely, and Jimmy, I remember when we jokingly played the schedule game when the schedule came out back in April. We said, for some reason, Pittsburgh always starts slow out of the gate, because in recent years, you're never sure if Roethlisberger's had enough reps. They've had their share of injuries, and then lately it's been Le'Veon Bell. Is he going to be ready? Is he not suspended or not suspended? He's not going to play Sunday. Yeah. They're the ones that have the question marks, and the Browns are the ones that I feel like going into this, should have a pretty good handle of who they are. Yeah,
and I don't think the Browns should get wrapped up in the Le'Veon Bell story. For instance, I don't think that they should get wrapped up in, what is it going to be like are you preparing for if he plays? Are you preparing for James Conner, which I think they are? I don't think they should get involved in that or thinking what the Steelers are thinking about, because I think the Steelers are showing some cracks anyway inside what is typically a very tight locker room.
Yes.
The Steelers are a really tight locker room and always seem to be. And a locker room that really, if you go in the Steelers, have you ever been in the Steeler locker room?
Yeah.
It's a different feeling. Yep. It's they know how to do it.
It's like being in the Yankees clubhouse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Or, they just know what they're doing. They know they got a good feeling about what it's going to take to win the particular game in front of them. But, the offensive linemen, as a unit, have come out in the last 2 days now, and they have gone after Le'Veon Bell. Right. Okay? Now, these are guys that, a lot of people would say, well, I mean, shouldn't players stand up for other players who are in a contract dispute because you want to be paid as what you're worth? Okay, now this guy would be paid $14.54 million to go out on the field and play for the Steelers. So it's not like he's playing. It's not like he's playing for free. Okay, but he wants the long-term deal. But Marquise Pouncey, Ramon Foster, David DeCastro, all of these guys have come out and taken more vocal shots at
Yes.
him as the week has gone on, and the word selfish has been used more than once. Now, that's very different for the Steelers because he did join them last year at this time on the week of the game against the Browns, and he was terrible in the game.
Right.
And it's one of the reasons, I really think, it's one of the reasons why the game was close.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not going to be the case on Sunday. But if I'm the Browns, I don't worry about that.
No.
I just worry about what they have to do.
Yeah. You know, as you've done, you know, you're putting your game charts and everything together, you know, what have you kind of highlighted as things you're watching for Sunday to know that okay, the Browns are locked in and they've really got a chance to get this win today?
Well, I think it will be interesting early, especially if it's as rainy as Betsy is forecasting.
Yeah.
So if it is like that, as much as teams will say, well, we didn't alter our game plan at all, if it's as bad as it looks like it might be, I think you have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to alter your game plan. I mean, it's like if you're going to play in high winds or snow or something like that, you do tailor your game plan. So I think at that point, I would be looking for the athleticism of Tyrod Taylor to be a factor in the game. Because remember now, he can move around.
Yes.
Okay, he's very, very fleet of foot. And he is that part of his game was not exposed at all during the preseason, and hardly any of his game was exposed during the preseason. He played so little, but he could be a factor because I can remember when the Browns played against him up in Buffalo, it was kind of an off field. It was a dicey field, a little icy up there, and he killed them on running around a little bit, extending plays. So that could be a factor in the game. The other thing I think that I'm going to be watching for is and Doug and I were talking about this today out in Berea, and that is, how many times does Roethlisberger drop back and have to reload? Bring the ball down and then reload. If he's doing that, I would suspect, number one, the Browns secondary is covering. But number two, if he's doing that, I don't think he's going to get a chance to reload this time against the Browns because of Garrett. And I would look for him to have a big game. I really am. I really look for him to have a big game. Now, Josh Gordon's the wild card. How much can he play? How effective can he play? And how deep down the field can they get him the ball?
Because he brings a whole nother dimension, and
he takes the top, as they say, off the defense.
Right, and all of a sudden, then Jarvis Landry finds so much room in the middle to operate. Last thing, we're going to have something on this tonight, Channel 3 News at 11. You're starting year 20 in the booth with Deke on Sunday. Obviously you guys already done the preseason, but it's a number. It's 20, but longevity is something in this business, especially in the play-by-play world, that's very, very difficult. And I think we talked about that when we were having your birthday night. But any thoughts as you kind of get ready to stick the headset on with Deke and go to it on Sunday?
Oh, it's been, it's been amazing. It really flies by. It really does. And, it's, you get so comfortable with somebody, and I am so comfortable with him, and I would think he would say vice versa. And we just have a great time. I think the ultimate form of a broadcast crew would be two people up there having a conversation about the game. And I think that's what happens on Sunday afternoons with us. I mean, we really have a great conversation between each other. We respect each other immensely. He respects what I do. Likewise, I respect what he do. We give each other the room to do that, which is very, very important. So it's great. It is really great. Every year that it comes around at this time, I'm really just so comfortable being up there with him. It's
for us who are fans of the Cleveland Browns, we just sit back. It's like friends coming home for a visit. When you hear you and Deke every Sunday, and it's like, okay, Jimmy and Deke are on the radio. Here we go. Let's do it.
There was a guy that came up to us during training camp, probably in the last week, and he said, "I have a job that I work full time, and then, like a lot of people, I want to make a little extra money on the weekends, so I'm an Uber driver." And I listen to you guys all day Sunday doing the game as I'm picking people up. He goes, and I have to tell you, it makes the hours go by. And we go, thanks. That's why we're there.
That's right. That's right. Whatever you can do to provide entertainment. It's like we do, if we make 20 minutes of your night better watching this show, I've done my job. I feel like I can go home every night feeling good.
Right.
In your case, it's 3 hours of Cleveland Browns football.
Right.
great call. Have a great call
Thank you.
Sunday, and we'll look forward to talking about it next week.
We'll chew it over right on Monday.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
We'll chew it over on Monday.
All right, again, Browns Steelers. This man will be on the call on Sunday with Doug Deacon and Nathan Zagura on the Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Again, we've got NFL football tonight. The defending world champion Eagles going to play host to the Atlanta Falcons. They'll kick it off a little bit after 8 o'clock right here on Channel 3.
You know, Phil Simms, before we go, I was listening to him. He does a great radio show on Sirius every week. And so he was talking about 2 quick points before we go. Number one, he said one of the great moves in the offseason, league-wide, was not Khalil Mack going to the Chicago Bears. You won't believe what he said. It was Carlos Hyde going to the Cleveland Browns. He said, perfect fit, great running back. San Francisco is going to miss him immensely. You put him with Todd Haley, and Carlos Hyde is going to be an incredible player. I went, wow. Second thing he said, and it pertains to tonight's game, Nick Foles. Nick Foles has had a history of when you overwork him in training camp, he has arm trouble. What did he have all training camp? Arm trouble, neck pain, shoulder problems, and it's from overuse in training camp. And that's what happened to him. Yeah. Interesting.
We'll watch for that tonight and see how he does against the Falcons. All right, again, highlights of the game at 11, and a look back at Jimmy's 20 years in the booth also tonight at 11 after the NFL season premiere later on tonight on Channel 3. All right, for David Herverton, for Jim Donovan, I'm Dave DiNatale. Thanks for watching the Donovan Live Postgame Show on WKYC's Facebook Live.